Hey guys, my name is NebulaRumour, and I recently came up with a challenge that is called the Foster Home Challenge. At least that's what I'm titling it for now. With this challenge and thinking of like a lot of other challenges in mind, I wanted something more realistic. Like, not that The Sims is meant to be realistic, and obviously this is not like 100% realistic, but like, no one's gonna have 100 babies, you know, like legacy, like you're not really gonna keep in contact with that many generations of your family. And there's a whole bunch of things I just didn't find realistic. And I wanted to make my gameplay just a little more realistic, but also not like put the burden of chores on. You know, I don't want to have to like vacuum and do laundry and stuff like that, you know, just like anyone else and finding like a recipe online. I'm telling you the background of why I made this. If you want to skip this and not hear why I made this challenge, you can go to the timestamp I'll put in down below. That way you can just hear the rules for this challenge. I made this challenge because I grew up around like a lot of disabled folk in varying illnesses and stuff like that. My mom has been a special needs teacher for years. She actually was a teacher at first when we were back in New York. She did music therapy and taught special needs kids about music and stuff like that. And then when we moved out to Arizona, that wasn't a position. Then she had to become a teacher to continue on working with special needs. And she did. A lot of those kids would go into like group homes and foster homes and stuff like that. And that's in general for like any disabled individual. It was just really hard. And hearing those stories from like my mom, like growing up, and the fact that the kids didn't have like any sort of stability at home, or, you know, they were in bad homes. So I kind of wanted to emulate that. Kids, it's not frequent for them to get adopted if they're older. It's just the fact of the matter. It's just really fucked up. And I wanted to kind of address that. And that's what I'm trying to do, even though I realize it's The Sims. I wanted to bring light to these problems. Making a challenge that was also realistic in terms of what happened, but also random. Not like forcing the game to be random, but having a set of rules that you would make to be random, like with rolling dice. Literally, that's part of it, is rolling dice. Now starts the basic overview. You're going to have one adult sim and then 7 kids in varying ages. The adult sim you can make yourself, have them set up to set you up for success. My sim is family oriented, neat, and good. She's set up for success. Her aspiration is related to family. I personally chose a woman. You don't have to choose a woman, obviously. You can choose whatever you want. Personally, I made it so she also couldn't have kids. I just didn't want to even have at all like her own children in the picture. In terms of the Sims of varying ages, I literally rolled dice for it. I have my set of D&D dice here. If you hardly get to use yours, guess what? You get to use them. I rolled the dice to see what age kid I would get. 1 and 2 is a toddler. 3 and 4 is a child. 5 and 6 is a teenager. Now, I realize statistically there might be differences, but I just wanted to make it as even as possible. So I'm right now going to roll this D6, and I got a 1. I have been getting 1s and 2s this whole entire time. I think this dice is loaded. I had gotten so many toddlers my first time around doing this game, or this challenge. Now, in terms of what they look like, completely random. And if you get like an ugly outfit or something, that's what they come with. That's the fact of the matter, is that these kids come in with just whatever's on their back. You're not going to always get the nicest things. I encourage you to not try to make them aesthetically appeasing to you. I encourage you to use the randomization and just see what happens. In terms of the traits, completely random. I make everything completely random because you don't know what kind of kid you're getting into your household. You don't know what background they're going to come from. You don't know anything about them. They just call you up and say you have a kid coming, and they show up a few minutes later. When they come, they don't come with anything. They come with a trash bag full of clothes, and that's it. I wanted to really replicate that to the best of my ability. Your base income, you are going to start with $35,000. Normally with an 8-sim household, you start with $34,000. So whichever. The point is to not be rich. The foster mom, I do not have her have a job, because she's taking care of 7 children. I went ahead and looked at the average payments of how much foster parents get per child per month. And it's pretty sad. The averages in the USA are anywhere from 450 to 700. Pretty fucked up, considering kids cost a lot more than that. I wanted to stick with the average, but also not go too high, considering money in The Sims, like a little bit of money goes a long way. Like, we don't have to buy food really too much, you know. I mean, $20 can feed the family of 8. It's not, I don't know, it's not realistic. I went ahead and stuck with lower on the lower end, where I get $500 per kid per sim week, considering sim time is different. We start on a Sunday. That means every single Sunday I get $500 times however many kids are in the household on that day. Now, in terms of building the neighborhood, I would recommend building in Newcrest, simply because I also have been starting to add families in. I've made 5 families of where the original Sims families, and I also made 5 of like the adopted families if they end up getting adopted. Up to you, but it just makes it easier, because then when you have to, or hopefully when you send a kid home, whether it be a new home or their old home, they can go there. Makes it a lot easier when transferring Sims around. Every single Sim day, you are going to be rolling a D20. The things that can happen on a daily basis: you can get a new kid. That's 1 through 5. That's highly likely to happen. If there's no space for a child, roll again. Expenses. That is a 6 through 8. Then you roll your D6 and then times that number times 100. If I was to land on the expense, I got a 4. So I would take $400 out of my household budget. If you don't have that, gotta sell shit. A kid coming back is numbers 8 through 13. You would just move them back from their original family if you have the space. If you do not have the space, you roll again. In terms of kids coming back, that's really statistically likely. It's a constantly rotating door, unfortunately, in the foster care system. And then severing parental rights is not quick and easy either. Adoption is for rolls 14 and 15. It's really unlikely to happen, unfortunately. That's just the fact of the matter. If you end up getting that, I personally have been rolling a D10. I realize it's more than 7. You know, if you have a D7, go for it. You have 7 kids in the household. I get 8 or 9 or 10, then I re-roll. Right now, if I was to roll, I got an 8, so we're going to roll again. I got a 3. So you're going to have obviously the 7 pictures underneath, and you just count in 1, 2, 3. 16 through 18 is actually a donation. Again, highly unlikely. Same thing as the expenses. If roll a D6 and then times that number by 100. If kid goes back to their original home, again, it's unlikely. It's really hard to get out of the foster care system. There's a lot to be proved, and it's not easy. That's 19 through 20. You put them back in their original home, and they do have the option to come back. In terms of weekly, if you really need it, you can hire a nanny once a week. Foster home, you would have people rotating through and working different shifts. That's just too much to deal with in The Sims. Once a week, you can have like a nanny in or a cleaner, something like that, just to come in and help you, but just once a Sim week. When the teenagers turn into adults, they move out. This challenge ends whenever you want it to, really. I would say at least go until the Sim is an elder. The original foster parent is an elder. But if you want to have someone else come in and take that role on and continue having those kids and having them grow up, you can do that. In terms of aging up, once the Sim ages up, you can go ahead and change them a bit, considering at that point, they're going to outgrow their clothes, so they're going to get new clothes. So that covers everything. I want to thank you guys so much for watching and considering this challenge. If you do want to watch me go through this challenge, I do have a Twitch. Same username is on here, twitch.tv/NebulaRumour. I'll be on there sporadically. I do have some more coming out on here, such as like speed builds and highlights from the challenges and stuff like that. Hopefully you enjoy. Thank you so much for watching. Have a great day. Bye for now.